Hey, what's up guys, Auto Fanatics. So another winter drive video, except this one is just going to be for a little bit of a test. Okay, here's the situation. The brand new Camaro ZL1 1LE came off the truck from Florida 2 days ago, and a couple of hours after it came off the truck, we had our first snowstorm in 2 years in New York. We haven't had snowstorm or any kind of bad weather in 2 years, minus like the cold temps and all that. So here's what happened. So I got the car back to my driveway. It was very, very sketchy. I'll throw some video clips up here. I couldn't get the car above 30 miles an hour. I think this is probably the most dangerous car I've ever driven in winter temps on these tires. Holy shit. This thing is freaking scary. Scary, scary, scary. Oh, Jesus. Look at this. There's like zero traction. With the Goodyear racetrack tires that come in this car, you cannot drive this car in cold weather, or if there's any moisture on the ground, you will get killed. So then the next day after we clean out the snow in the driveways, I tried to get it up on my buddy's flatbed. We were gonna flatbed it over to the shop to replace the tires with the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. We could not get wood under the car. We could not get the car lifted on the flatbed. It was too dangerous. I didn't want to damage the car. I didn't want to damage the wheels. So I jacked the car up in my driveway, took all the wheels and tires off, and I brought them to the shop one by one and just had them switched out. Now, the car does not have winter tires. These are not a dedicated snow tire. This is the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. It's an ultra high performance summer tire. Now, the reason I'm shooting this video, if you go back in the Auto Fanatic channel, I did a bunch of tire testing when these tires were really popular on the Shelby GT350. And also, a lot of my clients that got Porsches and Ferraris and other high performance cars, they don't do a tire swap. So on a day like today, this tire compound has enough grip to safely get you home and to drive the car. We're not gonna beat on the car. We're not gonna do anything stupid. We're gonna, not put it in track mode. We're gonna turn all the aids off. But I just wanna kind of do a test with this car because this is a track weapon. Extremely high horsepower, 650 horsepower, 650 foot-pounds of torque, and a very stiff, very, very stiff. One of the stiffest suspension cars you could ever get into, besides like a Porsche GT3 Cup car. It's extremely stiff. So we're gonna take you guys along for a little bit of a drive. It's gonna be one of the first videos on the car. I'm gonna be doing an oil change, and I'm also gonna be doing a full review on the Camaro ZL1 1LE probably next week, because the temperature is supposed to get up into the high 40s, possibly 50. I do not want to take this car on some nice back roads with this weather. You can see it's snowing right now. It's 27 degrees. It's cold as hell. So I'm gonna strap the camera in. We're just gonna drive around locally. We're gonna see how well these tires do. So we got OEM sizes. We got 305s in the front, and we got the 325s in the rear. So it's got a freaking gigantic footprint all the way around. You can kind of see it. So they look good on the car. And like I said, yeah, this car is not going to go on the track. This car is going to be on the street. So I'll talk some more about that, in an upcoming full review video. I'm going to discuss the architecture of the car, all the stuff about it. But so far, this thing is really, really cool. And unfortunately, with the original tires, you just can't even drive it. So I want to take this car out. I want to drive it. I want to learn a little bit more about it because it's the first time I'm ever getting in it. I have only driven a standard ZL1 back in 2017 when those cars first came out, before I bought my GT350. So let's get the camera strapped in. We'll go for a little bit of a winter mixed drive. We're getting some snow right now. I hope it doesn't get any worse. But like I said, I'm not saying that this is a winter tire. I'm basically just disclosing that this tire has enough grip that it will get you home on a cold, nasty day, and you can take your car out, just to drive it, to use it as a car, but you're not gonna beat on the car. So there's something about this rubber compound. I've tested Bridgestones, Continentals, Dunlops. This is the only tire that actually seems to work in the winter temps. I know they say you're not supposed to drive it in cold temps because the tires are cracked. I think it's a bunch of BS. But this car, or any car with these tires, you will be able to get home. So let's strap the camera in right now. I'll go for a little bit of a drive. All right, guys, so I'm in the 1LE, and oh man, these seats are really good. This car has heated seats, and they're really comfortable Recaros. I'll talk more about this in the full review video I do on this car next week, but just gonna do a quick little drive, do a little tire test. Parking brake off. Now we're going to go into modes. We're not going into the track mode. We're going to just use the snow and ice mode just because we do need traction control. Now, when this car came off the truck, we didn't even have snow, and there was no moisture really on the ground the way we see it right here. And I couldn't get the car above 30 miles an hour. Okay, the car was just braking sideways, about to hit all the cobblestone curbs, and it was extremely, extremely dangerous. But that's why I was like, you know what? Called up the tire rack wholesale. I was like, get me some Pilot Sport 4S tires immediately. They showed up the next day. And then, unfortunately, it was a freaking nightmare to get them put on the car because I couldn't get the car on my buddy Steve's flatbed. It was just sliding down, and it was going all over the place because a flatbed's made out of metal. And with those track tires, oh, man, I didn't want... You know, a lot of flatbed guys, the butcher guys, most of them are butchers, they'll take the winch with the hook and they'll hook it onto the bottom of the suspension and actually break stuff. So I never really like to have a car pulled up like that. I like to drive a car up and get it up safely. And I also didn't want to pull from the front tow hook because that's like cosmetic, and that thing probably would have ripped the bumper off if something went wrong. So I just took the wheels and tires off. And like I said, this suspension's not adjustable. It's not adaptive. And you'll, oh God. Yeah, this thing bounces you out of the seat. But this car is so mean, and it has so much power. So pretty much I'll talk more about it in the full review, but this is basically the same platform as the Cadillac Blackwing models, the CT4 and CT5. So this would compare more or less to the CT5 V Blackwing because of the LT4 powertrain with the 6-speed manual. But this is a much cooler car in terms of aesthetics and everything else. But we're just going to take it on some local roads just to prove that you can actually drive this car all year round. Now, like, listen, some guys are like, oh, why you drive your cars in the winter? I'm not going to leave cars parked for 4 or 5 months. You know, our winters in New York, you know, could get pretty brutal with the colder temps. And it's not just about snow. It's about being able to safely drive your car in the colder temps. And if you watch my video on the Alfa Romeo when it actually snowed with the Continental tires, that thing did phenomenal. That was unbelievable test of not only the car, but the tires and how well it worked. So I'm able to drive the car all year round. It's my daily driven car. And same things, like I said, with these toy cars. You know, my GT350 R and the GT350, I drove those cars all year round. You know, but you got to take the Cup 2 tires off, and you got to take, this one had the Goodyear Supercar, whatever they are. Oh my God, these tires that came on this car were the most dangerous tires I've ever driven on in my life in the colder temperatures. Even on a Pilot Cup 2, I was able to move cars around. This car couldn't even move an inch in my driveway. It was just spinning, and going straight into the curb. So I was like, you know what? It's just not worth it to mess around with it. But look, I'm driving, it's snowing. We're at 27 degrees. So it's below freezing. And I'm giving it decent throttle. I'm doing about 35 miles an hour. Oh, slid out a little bit right there. This heated seat's getting really hot. So let's just give it a little throttle. So that's the traction control doing its job. General Motors does a really good job on their traction control systems. I would say very similar to a BMW and a Mercedes as far as the way they program their systems. The ones in the Shelby and the ones in like the Alfa, they're terrible. You know, and a lot of cars are terrible, but these cars are done really, really well. They have the performance traction management system, and they spent a lot of time tuning this car. So it's kind of cool to finally get a chance to drive one of these and play around with it. I'm going to be doing a full AMSOIL oil change in a couple of days, and winter wash specimen. I posted it on my YouTube community feed. This is going to be the car. Now we're covered in road salt and grime, and the car was filthy when it came off the truck from the transporter. And it's also at the break-in mileage now, so it's got about like 1,100 miles that I didn't put on the car, but that's the way the car came here. So yeah, this LT4, man, it's got 650 foot-pounds of torque, and it's a monster. This car is an absolute monster, and I could feel it. You know, you could feel the chassis. You could kind of feel what this car is even doing just at low speeds. And I wasn't even able to feel any of this the other day trying to get the car, you know, home, because the transport guy, we use on this car intercity lines the guy didn't want to come into our town, so he had to meet us at the shopping mall nearby, and I had to drive it back. And that's when I kind of knew how sketchy and dangerous this car was on those original tires. But look, I mean, I'm driving it. I'm fine. We're doing a quick little video here. So FYI, if you guys own, you know, an SS1LE or any of these cars, any muscle car, or even a Challenger, don't be afraid to drive it in the colder temperatures. I mean, don't drive it in the snow and ice. You're going to get killed. That's just the reality of it. These cars have too much power, and there's too much weight behind them. This one here is about 3,800 pounds. The GT500s, God, that's like 500 pounds heavier. And then you got the Hellcats and all of that. Those are even heavier. But if you're taking it easy and you respect, you know, the weather conditions, you safely can drive your car. If you wanted to take it out, you know, not let it sit in the garage for 4 or 5 months, you can drive it in the colder temperatures on this tire. Now, I've tested other summer tires. You're not going to go anywhere. They're just too sketchy. For some reason, the way Michelin designed this rubber compound, it just seems to work in the colder climates. I don't know why. I mean, if you go back on my channel, maybe at the end of this video, I'll link some of those older testing videos when I was romping on my GT350, the red one, with these tires, and it was like 20 degrees too, and I just couldn't get the car to go sideways. So that's a testament to Michelin and the engineers and how well they designed the rubber compound, that yes, they're not disclosing it to be a winter tire or to be driven in temps, but I'm just telling you guys, and a lot of people notice, you can get by on some inclement weather like today. So like I said, guys, thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned. There's going to be more videos on the ZL1. Just a couple of more, not too many, because the weather, I think, is just going to be too unpredictable. But then in springtime, I'll take this car out on some of my favorite back roads and really, really get on it and really feel how dynamic this car is. And we'll probably put the other tires back on just because I want to drive this car the way it was originally designed, with the Multimatic suspension and those Goodyear tires. And safer, you know, be much safer to do when the temperatures get in the 50s and 60s and 70s. It's just too dangerous to do it right now. So, like I said, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more content. You guys want to see more ZL1 content, post it in the comments below. If you guys have any comments on these tires, if you guys own one of these cars, also post in the comments below on your feedback and how you like them so far. But I'll tell you now, I'm driving the car with 650 horsepower, 600 foot-pounds of torque, and I am perfectly fine. And I'm talking to you guys totally nervous-free. So I'm going to head back and drive the car a little bit more, and I'll see you guys in the next video, probably in a couple of days. Take care.
Don't need to give up on this.